This day in history. What happened today in history? 16th October. October 16th has witnessed pivotal moments in history. In 1846, William T.G. Morton publicly demonstrated ether anesthesia, revolutionizing surgery. On this day in 1492, Christopher Columbus anchored at Fernandina in the Bahamas during his New World voyage. The Council of Vienna opened in 1311, shaping medieval church reforms. Additionally, Oscar Wilde, the famed Irish playwright, was born in 1854. 1854, Abraham Lincoln speaks out against slavery. On October 16, 1854, Abraham Lincoln gave a speech in Peoria, Illinois. He denounced the Kansas Nebraska Act calling slavery immoral. This speech made him a national figure and set the stage for his later presidency. It was a key moment in the fight against slavery. Every day has a story. What happened on October 16 that still echoes across time? From battles to bold ideas, this date has witnessed change, conflict, and his discovery. On October 16, 1793, Queen Marie Antoinette was executed during the French Revolution. In 1846, ether was first used in a public surgery, a milestone in anesthesia. In 1859, John Brown launched his famous raid on Harper's Ferry. In 1969, Margaret Sanger opened America's first birth control clinic. In 1923, Walt and Roy Disney founded the Disney Brothers Cartoon Studio. In 1962, the Cuban Missile Crisis began, one of the tensest standoffs of the Cold War. In 1978, Karol Wojtyla elected Pope John Paul II, the first non-Italian pope in centuries. And in 1991, a tragic mass shooting in Texas left 23 people dead. October 16th has journeyed through time, starting from revolutions to political turning points and shaping human stories. 1793, Marie Antoinette is beheaded. 9 months after King Louis XVI's execution, Marie Antoinette met the same fate. On October 16, 1793, she was guillotined during the French Revolution. Her lavish lifestyle made her a symbol of royal excess. Her death marked the final fall of the French monarchy. 1846, modern anesthesia is born. On October 16, 1846, dentist William T.G. Morton demonstrated ether anesthesia at Massachusetts General Hospital. It was the first public surgery without pain. Before this, patients relied on alcohol or opium to numb the pain. The successful operation marked the beginning of modern surgical anesthesia. Today, this date is celebrated as World Anesthesia Day. 1854, Oscar Wilde is born. Oscar Wilde was born on October 16, 1854, in Dublin, Ireland. He became one of the most famous playwrights and poets of the 19th century. Known for his wit and humor, he wrote The Picture of Dorian Gray and The Importance of Being Earnest. He lived boldly and once quipped, I can resist everything except temptation. 1859, John Brown's raid on Harper's Ferry. On October 16, 1859, abolitionist John Brown led a small group to raid a federal armory in Harper's Ferry, Virginia. He wanted to start a rebellion to end slavery. The raid failed, and Brown was captured and executed. But his actions inflamed tensions that led to the Civil War. 1906, Shoemaker leads German soldiers in a robbery. On October 16, 1906, Wilhelm Voigt, a 57-year-old shoemaker, impersonated a Prussian army officer. He ordered real soldiers to help him steal 4,000 marks from a town hall. His daring hoist humiliated the German military. He became a folk hero known as the Captain of Köpenick. 1923, the Walt Disney Company is founded. On October 16, 1923, Walt and Roy Disney opened the Disney Brothers Cartoon Studio in Hollywood. It later became the Walt Disney Company, one of the biggest media empires in the world. Their creativity brought joy through animation, film, and theme parks. 1946, Nazi war criminals executed. On October 16, 1946, 10 high ranking Nazi leaders were hanged in Nuremberg. They had been convicted of war crimes and crimes against humanity. These executions followed the historic Nuremberg trials, marking a new era in international justice. 1958, Chevrolet introduces the El Camino. On October 16, 1958, Chevrolet launched the El Camino, a car-truck hybrid. It was inspired by the Ford Ranchero, blending style with practicality. The El Camino became an iconic American vehicle. 1962, the Cuban Missile Crisis begins. On October 16, 1962, President John F. Kennedy learned of Soviet nuclear missiles in Cuba. This started the Cuban Missile Crisis, a tense standoff between the US and the Soviet Union. The world came close to nuclear war before peace was restored. 1964, China joins the Atomic Club. On October 16, 1964, China successfully tested its first atomic bomb. This made China the fifth country to possess nuclear weapons. The test shifted global power during the Cold War. 1968, Black Power salute at the Olympics. On October 16, 1968, US athletes Tommy Smith and John Collins raised their fists during the US anthem at the Mexico City Olympics. Their salute symbolized black power and the fight for civil rights. It remains one of the most powerful moments in sports history. 1970, Jesus Christ Superstar album released. On October 16, 1970, Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice released their double LP Jesus Christ Superstar. It told the story of Jesus through modern rock music. The album became a Broadway and film success. 1987, Baby Jessica rescued from a well. On October 16, 1987, 18-month-old Jessica McClure was rescued after being trapped for 58 hours in a narrow well in Midland, Texas. The rescue, watched worldwide, ended in joy. Jessica became a symbol of courage and hope. 1991, mass shooting at Texas restaurant. On October 16, 1991, gunman George Hennard drove into Luby's cafeteria in Killeen, Texas and opened fire. He killed 23 people and injured 20 more before taking his own life. It was one of the deadliest shootings in US history. 1995, the Million Man March. On October 16, 1995, hundreds of thousands of African American men gathered in Washington, D.C. The Million Man March promoted unity, family values, and social justice. It became a significant event in the civil rights movement. 1996, tragedy at Guatemala soccer match. On October 16, 1996, a stampede at a World Cup qualifying match in Guatemala City killed 84 people. Over 100 were injured as fans rushed into an overcrowded stadium. The tragedy led to stricter safety rules in sports events. Which famous personalities were born and died on October 16th? October 16 marks notable birthdays and deaths of influential figures throughout history, celebrating legacies in the arts, science, and sports. Born on this day, Oscar Wilde, 1854 to 1900, Irish playwright and poet, author of The Picture of Dorian Gray. Angela Lansbury, 1925 to 2022, British American actress known for Murder, She Wrote, and the Manchurian Candidate. Naomi Osaka, 1997, Japanese tennis star and activist, winner of 4 Grand Slam titles. Notable deaths on October 16. Marie Antoinette, 1755 to 1793, the last queen of France before the Revolution. Noel Coward, 1899 to 1973, British playwright, actor, and composer known for his witty stage works. Lorne Greene, 1915 to 1987, Canadian actor, famous for playing Ben Cartwright in Bonanza. Deborah Kerr, 1921 to 2007, acclaimed Scottish actress, starred in The King and I, From Here to Eternity.